You've probably seen the same scenario on YouTube thousands of times. A YouTube channel blows up, gets hundreds of thousands of views, generates thousands of dollars in revenue, everybody talks about it on Twitter, but then the views suddenly drop, the algorithm changes, and nobody cares about this channel anymore. Well, the bad news is it's most likely going to happen to your YouTube channel as well if you don't protect yourself building a high barrier to entry. So in this video, I'm going to break down 4 YouTube channels that generated multiple 5 or even 6 figures in revenue that are already dead or going to die out, and I'll explain you the logic behind those niches and why they die. And I'm also going to give you 5 niches with different revenue potential, and I'll explain you why those are long-term and how you can print with those for years, not only weeks. So without further ado, let's get started with the channel that blew up absolutely everywhere, because Dr. Data got 500,000 views, and before you say that you already know everything about this channel, I will actually show you one very smart thing that this guy did that 99% of faceless creators don't understand. So the problem with this content is that it blew up around 2 months ago, and I created a niche digest about it. I think I talked about it in a couple of videos of mine. The views were very consistent because they generated 300 million views from just 80 videos, and their best video is only 20 million views, right? So it's not like one video got significantly more than the others. They all got around 5 to 10 million views on average. The problem with those is they're made with AI, and when a whole YouTube community sees that something can easily be replicated, obviously thousands of people go and try it. And they created countless amount of competitors. If we simply search for their nickname, we'll see amount of people, like it's just crazy how many people try to replicate their success. Obviously all of them failed, but YouTube doesn't really care where the content is coming from, meaning it analyzes the target audience, it analyzes the content piece itself without attaching it to a specific channel, and then it matches the audience with the content piece. It doesn't care if your followers are watching your channel or your competitor's channel or the channel that was created 2 days ago or 2 years ago. It doesn't care. The only thing that YouTube cares about is satisfaction, user satisfaction throughout the session, meaning it will show your audience whatever they are going to enjoy. And that's why competition really matters on YouTube, because anyone can get views as long as they're creating good content. And when you enter an AI-driven niche, the barrier to entry is so low, and it's so hard to create something unique and something actually valuable for the audience. That basically means that from the moment your trend and your format blows up to the point where a lot of competitors are entering the niche, you only have a few weeks. And later in this video, I'll show you how the trends blow up on YouTube, and I'll show you what that means to the potential of your YouTube channel. Now, the interesting fact about Dr. Data is that they generated about $25,000 from YouTube, but when they realized that the views are starting to go down, they had 2 ways they could actually squeeze the most out of the channel. They could either sell the channel, which is a very cool option, but again, buyers are typically very smart and they don't buy YouTube channels when they see that the trend for the niche is dying out, or they could monetize the info products. And this is exactly what they did, because they created a Gumroad page. You can set up one in a couple of minutes, and they started selling a course on how they make their own videos. And as you can see here, they did 90 sales of $150. So if we do the math real quick, and they made an extra $13.5 thousand from again teaching others how to do those videos. And that's very smart, because they ride the trend, they got the most out of the YouTube channel. They started to see that the views go down, and if we go there, you'll see how they were uprising for a couple of weeks, and then obviously their views suddenly drop. That's when they realized that, okay, cool, something is going on within the algorithm. We need to do something about it, or our channel is gonna die. So they started selling recommend a course on how to do that. Again, it's probably not the most ethical way to do it because they kind of understand that the niche doesn't work, but still generated them some extra revenue. And obviously, even though the channel died out, they were able to get an extra 15K from it. And I'm sure that if people who used the course were smart enough, they didn't copy the original idea, but they actually applied the lessons to generate something new. At least the rating is good. So again, we can debate the ethical part of it, but it's a good way to monetize the channel even if your views start to go down. And later down this list, we'll talk about some educational channels that are actually pretty much money printers when you add an info product on top of that. So I strongly believe that in 2026 you should not rely solely on AdSense revenue. You should actually think about other ways you can monetize your channel outside of YouTube, because YouTube is not the most stable platform right now. The next channel that I want to show you is actually the long-term niche, and this is where I want to give you the comparison, because this channel did something very smart. I call it the niche bending, and I'm sure by now you've seen my videos talking about niche bending a lot, but basically it's the most beautiful example of niche bending that I can find. So they simply took the channel Yellow Dude and they bent it to women. So they started talking about the same topics but for females. And again, females are very untapped YouTube market. Only a few channels are actually targeting women, and that's why it blew up immediately. So this guy was talking about like calisthenics and sports and all of that. So they simply adapted all of those topics for females, and as you can see, most popular video by now, 500,000 views, 400K views there, etc. So the channel blew up. They generated 1.3 million views, and yes, in terms of the revenue, it's probably the lowest paid channel on the list. But the reason why I wanted to include that is because it's a perfect example where of the channel where you can use info product as a way to double or triple your potential revenue. Because when you run an educational channel, you have to understand that people come to your videos to learn something new, and whenever there is a learning process involved, you can always sell people the next step. And for that, you can do two things. You can either start a community yourself, you can do it on WAP, you can do it on school, and you can make 100% of the money, but then it kind of involves the info product, like you need to know how to build those info products. Or you can just go on WAP, Discover. If you don't know what WAP is, simply like Google it, you'll find it. So you can go on a Discover page on WAP. You can find fitness communities for women, and you can be an affiliate for one of those. So simply you just add their link to your bio or all of your videos in the description of all of your videos, and you drive your tremendous amount of traffic to this community. And again, because people are naturally want to learn, and they come to your channel and this community to learn about sports, and again, the target audience match, then you will make 30 to 50% from each affiliate sale that you make for those communities. You don't need any knowledge at creating those info products. In this case, you just promote someone else's community, and that's the fastest way you can add an extra 5 to 10K a month to the channel that is already doing really well. So number one, it's a perfect long-term niche because they're using 2D, and they're doing a very good job. I think it's actually AI, not 2D, but AI 2D now, they're kind of they merge into one, but they're doing very good job at branding, so that's why the channel will survive long-term. They're also focusing on long-form content, not so much shorts, and they are building around a very specific target audience. So all of those factors combined make me say that this is the long-term niche that will survive for months or maybe even years. And with an extra monetization on top, it can actually make a significantly better income than just 4K per month. Now, before we transition, I want to show you how the formats blow up so that you understand the theory of it. Now, I want you to look at the blue graph right here, so the long-term niches. The way the channel typically explodes, and I'm talking about formats, so formats like skeleton, AI skeleton, or AI fitness influencer like these are the formats, right? So the way they blow up is for the first 2 weeks, they go through the validation stage. This is where 1 or 2 channels are using it, and it works for them. Someone invented it, and it worked, but still only a few people, caught it at the right time. Then comes the breakout stage. This is where more channels start doing it, and it works for every single one of them. So you need to understand that if you cannot find a single video that failed with a format, then it means that you found a format at the validation or breakout stage. And this is very important. Like if you find a format there, jump on it immediately. That's probably the best format for you to hop on. Then comes the momentum. Momentum is when more channels kick in and more people start using the format. It's anywhere between 5 and 15 channels that are now exploring and trying this format, different ideas and etc. This is where the growth is still exponential, but it kind of stabilizes to the end of this stage, and this is where the format enters the big stability stage. It can go up and down for months, like 1, 2, 3 months, doesn't really matter, and then it starts to decline. And this is inevitable for any format on YouTube. Even Mr. Beast said that some of his best formats started to decline, and that's why now he's trying to stop posting videos right there at the stage where people still care. But then at the end of the day, on social media platforms, we all want to watch something new, and that's why no matter how good is the format, it's going to die. The question is when. So if you look at the long-term trends and long-term niches, they die within 50 weeks, and it's quite a long period of time. And then if you look at the short-term niches and short-term trends, they can die within just a few weeks. So Dr. Data, they died within 2 months, I think, 2-3 months. So this is very important. These are 5 stages of formats and how they grow, and this is something that I wanted you to understand before I show you the Vixie Myth channel, because the Vixie Myth channel, the problem with that channel is, again, it's super easy to replicate. So if we if we look at their most popular videos, these are basically not brain rot, but you see how the format essentially is actually very interesting, because it kind of shows you all of the potential hair. I think one of the videos was about haircut, but then in general it's just like fast-paced editing of different clips, etc. The reason why those die out quickly is because imagine you are a newbie, you want to start on YouTube, you see something like this blow up. You can replicate this channel in 2 hours. You don't need any time, any skills, any resources to do that. And that's why thousands of people start to do the exact same thing. And obviously, it means that the validation and breakout and momentum stages are actually very, very short. So it can happen within just 1 week. And then the niche enters the peak stability very soon. It means that within a few weeks it's going to die out and it's going to decline. That's inevitable for niches like that. That's why even with like 50K in revenue made on this channel, right now it's completely dead. And if I were to compare it to another channel that recently blew up, that is at the bottom of the list, Polymod, I think it's going to survive for way longer. So the reason why is because this channel is actually using high quality Unreal Engine animations. So if we look at his videos, he blew up from the very first one, and they only posted 16. And they generated 113 million views. So on average, they generate 10 million views per video. It's shorts, but the reason why nobody can copy it, at least I haven't seen anyone trying that yet, is because to actually generate those 1 minute plus videos, you need a 3D animator. You need someone who is capable of doing those videos like inside Unreal Engine, and you also need hiring skills, right? So all of that creates the skill barrier to entry and the overall barrier to entry, and protects the niche from future competition. This channel blew up last month. Again, still no competition. So, meaning that this channel is actually at the validation stage still. So the longer the validation and breakout stage, the longer the overall trend going to survive. And this is what makes me say that this channel will definitely survive for the next 6 to 12 months, meaning if it generates 7 to 10K per month, that's the 100K potential for the channel minimum. And then if they keep innovating and inventing new formats, then it can easily turn into 200, 300K, whatever. And I did the exact same thing with the art of war, the channel that we scaled to 300K in its first year of making content, posting twice a day, high quality 3D animation, nobody could compete, nobody could copy, and that's how we did it. Now, let's quickly talk about the other niche that we have here, that is steel printing. The reason why I wanted to show you that is because I'm making a prediction now that this channel and this niche is going to die out within the next 3 months. The reason for that is, first, it's been around for a long time, and I'm quite surprised that they were doing crazy numbers for such a long period of time. At the beginning, I thought that it's a very short-term trend, but it turned out that people actually care about psychology. The reason, though, why I think that it's going to die out is because, again, it's AI. It's very simple to replicate, and everybody talks about it. Whenever you see a niche that everybody is obsessing over on Twitter or YouTube, it means that it's probably already too late to get into that niche. So they create those psychology videos and they make it with their unique AI avatar, so to say, AI influencer. Again, recently, as you can see, the videos were not performing really well, but some of their videos did like 3 million views, which is absolutely crazy. So this channel generated around $70,000. It's still making money, so it's still around 20K a month, I think, last time I checked. But again, my prediction right now, it's 3 months is until this channel dies out. The only way I think they could survive is by inventing something new. So this is the stuff that we as content creators, as faceless creators, have to always think about. The moment your formats start to die out, you can invent a new format for the same exact target audience and revive the channel. If it doesn't happen, then the channel dies out with the format, but it's not necessary. So if you hop from one format to another and it works because it has the same target audience, then you have a way higher chance of making the channel survive while, you know, the formats, they come and go. A good example of that is Monkey Explain channel. So this channel generated $50,000, so pretty similar to Psychology Simplified. And the reason why I wanted to show you that is because the trend on monkeys, it was a very old one, and I felt like it was also gone. But then the way those guys adapted and actually kept inventing new formats one after another is by using what I call the hype injection. So the hype injection is basically a two-step process of how you can bring more views to the channel that is currently either dying or doing, you know, semi-good numbers. So number one, you need to find a working format. For those guys, it's Monkey Explain something. But then number two, you can inject some hype by adding a celebrity or talking about the news. So like this channel that I used in the example did it with this video, every level of Illuminati, and you know who's on the thumbnail. So that works. But then those guys, they just talk about news. They just take whatever is popular right now, whatever is mainstream media is pushing, and they adapt it for their own format. This way, the target audience of the channel changes with those topics. So whenever there's like war or America doing something crazy or new Epstein files or whatever is happening in the world, economics, politics, whatever, AI, these guys monetize from that because, again, they just adapted for their format. This is one of the ways you can keep your channel evergreen and long-term, and this is probably one of my favorite ways. And again, they generated like $48,000 from this type of content. So again, very good job for them. And I think that this channel, Super Comical, is another good example of that. The reason why I wanted to include them is because A, they also generated like $40,000. B, they did it with a way shittier quality than, for example, my channel. Because I'm in pretty similar niche, I'm not jealous, but I can see how their strategy make a lot of sense. So the way this channel actually create their content is they find a real life footage of an event, let's say like a hero saving an old dude who almost fell off the window. They find the real footage, they add it to the end of their video, and they reanimate the whole scene. This allows them to again recreate the footage and show interesting things, plus also increase the AVD, because at the end you have basically the same exact clip again, so people watch for twice as long as they would typically watch a video. And the reason why I think it's long term is because it's 3D animation again, so there's a hiring barrier to entry, the skill barrier to entry, but then also they monetize on hype. They do those hype injections often. Whenever there's a new story that comes out of a robbery or like some crazy shootout, like whatever, they can monetize on that. So they can keep injecting this hype into their channel. And actually with Super Comical, they were struggling with views. I think in December they were struggling with views. For some reason their videos were not performing well, but then they just kept going and the channel blew up again. So that's why if we look at the Super Comical stats, we'll see that the channel blew up in October, then it almost died out in December, but then they managed to revive the channel and get it back to 115 million views in January. The only channels that can survive that kind of drop are long-term high-quality niches. All of the other channels from this list actually died out and pretty quickly, and there was no way to revive them. But channels from that list not only survived, but you can actually revive those if you're using the right strategy. Now, the third channel, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. This one generated $250,000 with commentary. We talked about this channel a lot in Finn's Diary. In 1 month, they managed to generate 1 billion views, but again, because they do a very simple commentary videos, the competition eventually killed this beautiful niche and this channel as well. And compared to that, the channel about monsters that is long-term keeps printing money, and they will keep printing for months because A, it's 2D animation, B, it has the higher barrier to entry because of the topic. I really like the channels where you have to be the fan of the niche, otherwise you don't really understand it. So for example, me personally, I would not be able to make those videos because I have no idea, I don't understand those monsters, I'm not in love with those. Even writing those scripts with AI is gonna be hard for me. So this is what I call the skill barrier to entry, and this is why whenever I speak with clients or my followers as well, I always advise them to go into niches that they are themselves very passionate about, because this creates the barrier to entry. This helps you protect the niche long term from any competition. And if you're looking at this list and you're wondering, Tim, what do I do with all of this information? How do I decide what niches to choose? This is the exact framework that me and Art of YouTube clients are using to understand where to go depending on your stage of your YouTube journey. So if you're a beginner and you want to start as lean as possible, meaning you don't have any cash to run a high quality branded YouTube channel, what you should be doing is whiteboard AI animations, AI stories, AI shorts, and commentary shorts. Like, this is where your main goal is to scale the channel to 3 to 5K a month as quickly as possible, then squeeze the most out of this channel by using the strategy that Dr. Data used. Either you launch some info product or you sell the channel for 20, 30, 40, 50K at its peak. This is your goal. This is how you get the initial capital to run something sustainable, to run something long-term. This is for all of the beginners out there. If you are a beginner or a grinder with a few YouTube channels and let's say 2 to 5K saved up that you can invest in a high quality branded channel, then my recommendation is you should go into 2D animation, short and long form. I did my predictions for 2026 and I still believe that 2D animation is going to be the king of this year. So that's very strong niche. AI influencers, short form and long form as well. Whiteboard animation and commentary with animation. And your goals at this stage, scale to 10, 30K a month. with one or multiple channels, build a multi-platform brand, meaning you want to reuse this content on Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. You want to get monetized on all of those platforms. Launch or affiliate for other info products as well, so that you scale past 50K a month with multi-platform brand, and eventually you want to sell the channel for 150 to 200K. This is where your life absolutely changes, because imagine you go from not knowing YouTube at all to firstly like scaling to 3-5K a month, then selling the channel for 20-30 grand, then transitioning into this stage, selling the channel for 200K, and then going to the most advanced stage of your journey. This is for those of you who are experienced, already have multiple channels proof, you know how YouTube algorithm works already, you have some cash saved up to invest. For those of you who are at this stage already, then I would recommend you 3D animation, short form and long form, and top-notch documentaries. Those channels can generate multiple 6 figures a year, even 7 figures a year if done right, and those can easily get you to 1 million a year once you launch a multiple channel network, and each one of those channels generate you 10 to 50K. You create teams and units that are in charge of repurposing this content on multiple platforms, and this is how you scale to 1 million a year. So this is the exact strategy that you need to think of when choosing the niche and then running a channel in that niche. And it's also something that no one is telling you, because most of the videos I see on YouTube, most of the tweets are all about those niches, but nobody tells you that it's not sustainable long term, and you actually want to transition from this stage to those two as soon as possible by either selling the channel or just squeezing the most out of it and using this cash to reinvest into more high quality branded stuff like here. If you need any help at any point of your journey, if you are a complete beginner, or you already want to launch something branded like 2D, or you want to go into top-notch 3D high quality channels, then find a link down below. The Art of YouTube is there to help you out. This is where I personally help you scale past 15K a month with whatever channel from this list you're trying to launch, and we're gonna figure out the exact situation you're in. We're gonna choose the path that we're gonna go into, and we'll set our 90 days plan to hit one of those goals, and we'll get you there, because we did it countless of times with previous clients of mine and portfolio channels that currently generate me 700K per year. So if that's in any of your interest, you'll find a link down below, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, so I'm currently at my dashboard on smmshiba.com. And do not get confused by the website names. SMM Shiba and SMM Dodge are actually the same website. So all you have to do once you've created yourself an account here is to go on list, click on this category icon, select, and here you want to select something, basically any option that says from with video. So I'm going to choose this one right here, and this should be already fine. 2014, 2017, yeah. Now I'm going to click on buy, confirm, and now you can go into your product orders, and you will see this is pending. All right, the order is now completed. This didn't even take 2 minutes. What you want to do now is you want to copy that ID, and we want to be organized, right? Especially if we have multiple channels, you will not find them again. So make sure to save it somewhere.